All right. Well, hello everybody. Welcome. So sorry that we weren't able to do this in person. My old truck is kind of on its last legs, and I had to go to the mechanic. Um, so if anyone's looking for a 2004 Toyota Tacoma with a busted transmission, you let me know because I got a deal for you. Motivated seller. Anyways, what I'm really excited about is to chat with you about our upcoming trip to San Diego. Now, I know for many of you, this is your first time doing this trip. And for some of you, eighth grader parents, you had our San Francisco trip last year. And so you kind of know how this works, but let's go through the itinerary for everybody so you guys can all kind of see how it goes. So let me pull up the itinerary. Give me a thumbs up if you can see it. Thumbs up, yes. Fantastic. Let me just make it a little bit bigger for us all. Okay. Uh, so basically, we're leaving on Friday. Your students are out of school on Friday to be with us. I recommend that you get there a little, 8:30 should be fine. We're not going to really be rolling out until 9 o'clock. The tricky part is if you get there a little too close to 8:30, it's going to be a little bit of a traffic jam. So you can drop your kid in front of the school on Lone Hill, or you can drop them in the parking lot. We'll meet in the little quad area there, as we usually are off to do, because band will be stuck hanging out in the in their area. We might need to adjust that meeting area, but Lone Hill's not a big school, so you'll find us wherever we kind of park. Sometimes we park in the NPR, but doesn't matter. We do roll call. So chaperones, you guys are going to be kind of our point people for the trip. Let's just kind of look at that really fast. So our chaperones, we have Supa Kuryan, we have Heidi Azevedo, we have our student teacher, Ms. Jessica Salskiver, and then we have Nichelle Lopez. I think that's all of them. Oh, and Samantha Tom is also one of our chaperones. So what you'll notice is these students are split into rooms with specific numbers, room 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they've been assigned a chaperone. So whenever we leave anywhere, whenever we meet somewhere, we do what's called a room check. Your students have been practicing it, and basically they just gather into their rooms, and I go down the roll and I say, room 1, are you here? Room 2, are you here? And they shout out yes, or no, we're missing Carly. And it just lets us know whether or not they're there. Chaperones also are going to be sharing their contact information with your students if they have a cell phone with them. Chaperones will be sharing their contact information so that in case your student has any issues, throughout the trip, they can contact their chaperone. Their students have also been kind of notified that there's kind of a hierarchy of who to contact when they have a question. They can look at the itinerary, they can talk to another student about their question, they can talk to their chaperone about the question, and only after that point do they come to me. It's mostly for self-preservation because I am having to deal with all 31 of our students traveling, as well as just navigating everything and busing. And I mean, we just got done with the high school doing a trip to New York City. And I had to deal with a lot of little problems. I was very thankful that our students understood kind of that hierarchy, as your students do too now. So, and we used this same roommate check-in system, and we didn't lose a single person in New York. So there's a lot less problems in our San Diego trip than a New York trip. So I think we're going to be great. Don't have to beg, borrow, and steal to not get kids kicked off our flight home, for example. Anyways, let's head back to the itinerary. I got distracted. Thank you for that, following me on that little sidebar. So we head off. Our first stop is Belmont Park. It's a lovely seaside amusement park down there in San Diego. We're going to spend some time there. The students are going to have time to play games. They're going to have time to eat lunch. They have a meal voucher that is included, and probably some money for souvenirs or little knickknacks, would be good for that if they would like to. After that, we head to the hotel. We are staying at the Sheraton in San Diego Mission Valley right there, just that string of hotels in Mission Valley, if you've ever been. It's always where we stay. It's a great hotel. Your kids will love it. Nothing too crazy about that. We settle into the rooms and then we head out. Miss Lave and I have found a little local kind of shopping area with a couple of fast food spots, and we'll take your kids over there, let them have some nice food, then come back to the hotel and be locked into their rooms. Now, something about lights out that I want you to pay attention to with your students as well. The way that we operate lights out on our trips is at 9 p.m., which is the lights out for this day, the chaperones go around to their rooms and they check on all of the students. It's the end of the day check-in. The chaperones go through, share what the schedule is for the next day, make sure that the students understand what they need to wear, what they need to be prepared for, and then they tell them to go to sleep. Some students who are wise follow that rule. Others get really tired and are, confused why they're so cranky or nauseous. And it's like, well, because you didn't sleep. So that first night, 9 p.m., our chaperones will close them in. And what we do is we actually tape them in. I don't have tape with me, but it's blue painter's tape. And the chaperones will, the door crease where you close the door, you tape it on the door frame and then a little bit onto the door. It's a way for us to, it's a low-tech security system. It works all the time. And so we tape the students in and they are not untaped until wake-up call. So chaperones go to their 2 rooms, they check on the students, see if there's anything they need before they put them to bed. Then they tape them in. This night it's at 9 p.m. And then at 5:30 in the morning, chaperones will go around and untape the doors and give a quick knock on the door just to make sure the kids are kind of waking up. So that's kind of our end of day procedure for chaperones. And then the beginning of the day, you wake up, you give them just a rap on the door and you take the tape off. For our breakfasts, it's included at the hotel, so students can go downstairs. They have to make sure that they're at least with a partner, always with a buddy. Buddy system is paramount on these trips. They always have to have a buddy. They cannot leave the hotel. There's no need for them to leave the hotel. Also, the hotel is somewhat isolated. There's not really any places to go get food outside of the hotel in that area. So the students stay in the hotel. When they get older, we have other procedures they can do, but for this, they're not leaving the hotel. Then we actually have to leave pretty early for our festival performance. This is why it's really important that the students go to bed early the first night, because we have to sing ready and warmed up and give our best performance at 8 a.m. Well, 8:30. We have to warm up at 8 a.m., but 8:30 is when we got to be ready to go. So we head off to the site. The students need to be dressed in their choir performance attire, in their dresses, their hair done, in their button-up shirts and their pants, shoes, all that stuff, ready to go as we leave the bus, as we depart at about 7 a.m. So yeah, it's, again, like I said, it's an early day and a long day. So make sure your kid knows they got to go to bed that first night if they're texting you, which I hope they do. After our performance, we head back to the hotel and we get the give an opportunity for the students to get changed into their fun clothes for the day. It takes about half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, not too long. They're just getting changed out of their clothes and into their fun clothes. And we go to SeaWorld for the rest of the day. SeaWorld is, everything in San Diego is like 15 to 30 minutes from everywhere else. So it's pretty nice place to navigate. Even on a Saturday, it'll be pretty good. We head to SeaWorld. Students will need to take care of their lunch on their own that day at the park, but the dinner is included. So it's a big buffet style kind of dinner. It's really nice. They have a nice big like kind of pavilion set out for us, and it's kind of like towards the end of the day for the park. And then we have a award ceremony where they clear out the park. It's just our students and the people participating in the festival. We meet in this big theater. They do the award ceremony and then we head back to the hotel. So that day's pretty easy. The lights out that day is 9:30. We sometimes adjust it depending on kind of how the day is rolling along, depending on how long it takes us to get out of the park. So 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock. That's something the chaperones and I will be sharing with one another. And also, like looking at this schedule, there's it's pretty solid, but there are some tweaks that sometimes happen on the trip where things get shifted 15, 30 minutes one way or another. But we do that on the fly, so don't you worry about it. But know that the itinerary is aspirational, it's not gospel. So we sometimes shift stuff just a little bit. So 9:30, lights out, taped into their rooms. The next morning, they can wake up a lot later. They can relax, they can sleep in. And we don't have to leave until like 10 a.m. The wake up call is at 8 a.m. We're probably going to bump that up a little bit earlier just because the schedule shifted a little bit just this past week. So we can probably unlock them around 6 a.m. chaperones, just like we did kind of that first day. And then, the breakfast is at the hotel, it's included. We do this fun thing called a room inspection. So what happens is I am the judge and I go around to all the rooms and I see which room is the cleanest room of like the whole bunch. Boys and girls compete against each other, it's all together, and I see who has the cleanest hotel room. Now, I have been bribed in the past with food. I have had students set the mood and scene with lighting and music. Full skits have been performed. And it's to my taste because I'm the judge. And whichever room wins gets a crisp $20 bill to share amongst themselves. So the competition is often quite fierce. It's really funny, but it's a good incentive for your students to think about the work they're leaving for others and to be mindful of who is going to be having to clean up their room after them. And so we want to encourage them to, have a good habit. So why not do it with some fun? After that, we head out from the hotel and we go to Seaport Village. If you're not familiar with Seaport Village, it's a little kind of area in downtown San Diego with a bunch of cute little shops, little souvenir stores, nice little shops and restaurants, just a nice little beach area. For this, what we do is we usually keep the students in what I call like kind of a soft chaperone situation. We give them parameters of where they can go and where they can't go. We have chaperones kind of milling about, and we let them kind of be on their own. It's a controlled area. They don't usually get into too much trouble, but typically they kind of latch onto a chaperone. So we ask the chaperones kind of stay with the groups and kind of see how they're doing. Similar to how we did with Pier 39 last year. That one we had the kids all be in groups. We might kind of see how it's feeling if we need to force them to be with chaperones kind of time. But most of our students this year are pretty well behaved and we should be able to be fine with that. However, I will say also, if at any point your student does misbehave or we do feel that they need to be embedded with a chaperone, that's one of our, it's not punishments, but it's one of our ways of making sure that that we're keeping track of them. So certain chaperones, we might ask them to stay with that student throughout the day, just as a precaution if the student has been consistently breaking rules. Speaking of rules, all of the rules that apply at Lone Hill apply on our trip. Your student is an ambassador of Lone Hill Middle School and of the town of San Dimas, and we expect them to behave in a respectful and kind manner to the people on the trip and people around us in public. So what do I mean when I say that Lone Hill school rules apply? Lone Hill dress codes apply. No bullying, no drugs, no alcohol, no party crazy things happening, no weapons, tobacco, firearms, all that stuff. So if it isn't at Lone Hill, then it's not here. The few exceptions are this: they can have a phone on them at all times if you want them to have it. I encourage them to have it. Phones are fine. They can also have a Nintendo Switch if they want to play that on the bus, but realize that we are not liable for it. If it gets lost, it is on them, not on us. So that is basically how the rules work for that. Jumping back into it, we're at Seaport Village. We then head to the beach. We go to Mission Beach and we have a picnic on the beach. We order some Subway sandwiches. The students and chaperones, we eat some Subway sandwiches. They're really great. And the kids can run around and play in the sand. They can go run in the water if they want. They can just kind of sit on a beach towel or whatever. We'll kind of have a section of the beach kind of cordoned off. We'll say from this lifeguard stand to this lifeguard stand, from the street out kind of situation. We set the kind of the parameters and then we let the kids have a good time. We hang out on the beach for about 3 hours, little nap, a little bit of reading, a little bit of going in the water if they want. Then we rinse off really fast, load up the bus and drive home. Heading into Lone Hill, probably about 5:30. Again, kind of paying attention to how the schedule can kind of sometimes shift. It's also a good opportunity for me to remind you that we have a Remind for this trip. Your students have signed up for it. Some of you have signed up for it. I encourage you to, if you want to be kind of in the loop about what's happening, it's how I most often communicate with the students on the trip. And if you want to kind of be in the loop about what we're doing, you can. I have linked it in our past emails, and I'll drop it here right now into the chat if I can get this link to work. Here we go. So if you haven't seen it yet, you can check it out in the email that I've been sending out. But the Remind is a great way for you to kind of stay up to date if we're running a little late, if your student isn't texting you because they're a moody preteen and don't want to text you. You can text me and Remind, and I can let you know, or you'll see the big general announcement that we're running a little late. So yeah, looking at our packing list, nothing crazy here. Make sure they have their concert outfit. Make sure that it's clean. Some of them have probably dumped it in the back of their closet. Pull it out, make sure that it's presentable, make sure their shirts are clean, their shoes are ready to go. Speaking of shoes, comfortable walking shoes. They're going to be in SeaWorld for the day, and they're going to be putting some miles on their shoes, so make sure they're wearing something comfy. Shirts, short, long sleeved. The weather is going to be okay. It looks like it's going to be highs in the upper 60s, lows in the mid 50s. There's a chance of a little bit of a shower from that storm that's coming through, but it's San Diego. It's probably going to be sunny and not too much of an issue. I just got done being in New York last week when they had that huge storm where the Statue of Liberty was struck by lightning and rain was coming in sideways and earthquakes. So we're not going to have any of those problems in San Diego. Thank goodness. I recommend your student bring maybe a sweatshirt or a jacket. We'll be at SeaWorld all day. And once the sun is off, it's right on the ocean. That ocean breeze kicks up and it gets a little chilly. So make sure your student packs a sweater. Otherwise, they'll end up buying one because they'll need it. So make sure they have like a sweater or a jacket. Obviously, underwear, shorts, pajamas, bathing suit. If your student wants to go swimming, just got to make sure that they have a bathing suit and that they are able to swim. I actually am lifeguard certified, so I'll be keeping an eye out on them. But also, it's the beach, and things change pretty fast, so make sure your student knows their swimming abilities. Deodorant, shampoo, conditioner, toothbrush, sunscreen. Please have them bring sunscreen if they plan on hanging out outside. I'm gonna bring some sunscreen, but I can't screen 31 kids, so make sure your kids bring some sunscreen. Medication if needed. If you have any students who have any medical needs that I'm not yet aware of, or that are like if they take medicine at night, I do need to be made aware of those. So please shoot me an email if you have a student who has a particular need medication wise. ATM card is better than cash. If you can give your student an ATM card instead of cash, that's usually helpful. Less for them to lose in a way. But money oftentimes just falls out of pockets. So either that, one thing that has been very successful is Apple Pay. If your student has an Apple phone, you can just set them up with Apple Pay and they can just tap to pay, and it's very, very simple. Or you can give them a prepaid gift card and they can load it into Apple Pay and you gave them $200 and that's all they get. Another thing is a cell phone and an external battery charger. While we're at SeaWorld, we're going to be there the whole day, and there aren't power outlets there, and your student is going to be on their phone playing games or playing Pokemon Go or sending messages in Snapchat or Instagram, and that is going to drain their battery very quickly. So make sure your student has an external battery pack with them. Also for the bus, it helps out for when they're riding on the bus, because the bus also, they rarely have chargers. Some of them are these days getting those little in-seat charging platforms, but we don't know what kind of bus we're going to get. So that brings kind of our total to about $100. Lunch Friday and Saturday is provided. Breakfast all the days are provided, and dinner Saturday is provided. So $100 should be fine. $100 to $200. If they want to buy trinkets and souvenirs, that'll obviously run up a little bit more. but you can kind of judge that with your own student. I also sent out the rooming list. So this is again, the chaperone on top, and then the 4 students or 3 students in the rooms below. Chaperones, I have your contact information and I will be sharing it with the students, and I will be having them and you meet with each other when we get there, and making sure that you have all of their contact information. So share your number with your students that you're in your rooms. That way, if they need to get a hold of you for any reason, they can get a hold of you. So yeah, I think that's about it. It's a fantastic trip, you guys. It's really close to home too. So if you have a student who this is maybe one of their first times away from home for a long period of time, it's only for a few days, and we deal with it all the time. It's a lot harder for the San Francisco trip. Some of the kids, that distance is a lot trickier for them. Last year we had some kids who got homesick. The San Diego trip is a perfect first trip for your student if this is their first time traveling with us. We're just down the coast, just a few hours away. You know, we can have them call you and, you know, keep in touch, and they'll be busy running around SeaWorld with their friends. Like, we keep them busy the whole time. So it's not just them sitting in their rooms and chilling, as you saw. We got stuff planned for them. That's basically it for me. So I'd like to open up the floor to any questions. If you have any questions, just kind of raise your hand or unmute yourself, and I'd be happy to answer anything that you guys are curious about. Otherwise, you can head on out. How'd I do, Nichelle? Did I get everything? Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you. I got it. Perfect.
You got everything.
Yeah. Do you want him to bring anything specific for the beach or just a towel?
Towel, bathing suit, and sunscreen.
Okay, no chairs or anything, right?
Yeah, they can if they want to put it in their suitcase.
Okay.
You know, the plan is for students to really only have a suitcase and like a backpack or carry-on kind of thing that they can take in the park. You know, otherwise we run out of room on the bus pretty quick, so they can't bring their surfboards. It's a little too much. Great question though. Any other questions?
Okay, one more question. So for the, if they take a prescription medication, do you need a form or anything, or you just want us to let you know?
So they need to let the nurse know at the middle school if it's like an after school kind of thing that you usually have for your student, because then I have to know. So if the nurse's office doesn't know, like, they have to be brought into it so that then I can be brought into it.
Okay,
Your
so
student
just
has medical need, medication, tell the front office, tell the nurse's office, so that then I can be informed by the trained medical staff.
okay. But there's no form or anything, right?
It was on the permission slip that you filled out in the fall.
Okay, then maybe I already filled it out.
It's been a while, but yes.
Okay, I'll double check.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
of course. All right, Tanya, yes, unmute, share out.
Just to reiterate on the medication, it's not a medication that she's had to take in the past, but as of this week, she is taking these medications. Should she even make it to the trip? Not sure. But you said email you. But so is it best to copy the health clerk? I don't remember her title. Or what is the approach?
The best approach is for you to email the health clerk at Lone Hill and to CC me. That's the best kind of approach to go with it. That way,
Excellent.
That way they are informed about any of the medication changes, and then I am also brought in on the loop, and hopefully Tegan feels better soon.
Okay, thank you so much.
Of course. All right, great questions, everyone. This is fantastic. Keep them coming. I'm ready. Done this trip a few times and happy to share it with you guys. All right, seeing none. Or Heidi, you have one more.
One more. Sorry, question person here. Is SeaWorld cashless or is it still accepting cash?
That's a really good question, actually. I didn't think about that until I was just sitting here. Last time I was there, which was only 2 years ago, it was still taking cash,
Okay.
but let's see.
Oh, that's
Oh, of course. How long was this? How long ago was this? They've changed to cashless. Oh, they changed to cashless just last year. So after I've been there, so there you go. Sorry, SeaWorld is cashless. That just happened. All right. So yeah, let's see. Mona says, will the bus have a restroom? Usually it does. However, we do take a few stops on the way down just to give the kids a chance to go to the bathroom. But this is a chance for you to know about my like 3 bus rules. So rule number 1, no singing on the bus. Rule number 2, no number 2s. And then rule number 3, see rule number 1. So no singing, but we don't let the kids typically go number 2 on the bus because it is a self-contained vehicle that we will be with the entire trip. So they don't pump change it. They don't do any of that sort of stuff. We take breaks for that kind of thing, but yeah, if there's an emergency, obviously we let them use it. I'm not a crazy person, but it's just we don't want them to think that they can just go on any time.
Can they take snacks to eat on the bus?
Oh yes,
chips.
of course they can. Yeah, we have kids bring so many snacks. You know, it's really fun. So of course they can.
Can I ask that you just be careful about the net due to net allergy?
Okay.
If you can mention not to bring nuts, or in an open area or in a closed vehicle, or
Okay.
Melania specifically has allergy to nuts. I'm sure some other students may as well.
We remember that. All right, thank you. Cool, and I think I saw
Thank
Jean
you.
had a hand up.
Yeah, I don't know if it's saying my internet connection's unstable, but since SeaWorld's cashless, I could just get her like a Visa gift card or something, right?
Yeah, exactly
Okay.
right.
I just wanted to make sure I'm not real tech savvy, but okay, yeah, I'm glad we discussed that because I was going to give her all cash. So I'm glad someone said something about cashless because everybody's gone cashless now.
Yeah, and those Visa gift cards are really, really slick. We just used them on our trip to New York for the students. So yeah, these work just fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And let's see, will there be time for kids to change before we head home? No, because we're checking out of the hotel. And I mean, there's a chance for them to put on dry clothes and to like shower off. But yeah, we're going straight from the beach back to San Dimas. So they can change in the bathrooms at the beach, but we're heading up on natural with sand. And then a list of kids with allergies, chaperones will let you know about that. You'll have access to that just so you can kind of know, but I'm the one who has to be the medical point person for obvious reasons. So yeah, but I'll let you guys know as well. Okay. All right, well, thanks everyone for a great meeting. This will be recorded. Well, it is being recorded, so if you want to check it out later, you sure can. It'll be sent out in just a jiff. So thank you all so very much for coming tonight. It's going to be a fantastic trip. I hope your students are getting excited, get them hyped up, and I'll see you on Friday morning, okay? See ya.